Bachelorette ruined my friendship. This is a long vent. I am the MOH and organized a weekend getaway for the bride and her bridesmaids and a few friends of hers, 10 people total. None of the girls, including myself, are friends with each other outside of the bride. I had a really hard time organizing this event because in the group chat no one would reply and I was left high and dry for a lot of the decision making. Eventually the same 2 girls would chime in and would offer to help. About a month ago we made a group chat, just the 3 of us, to figure out last-minute details of the trip, since we are the only 3 really involved in the planning. The bride from the beginning has said she didn't want involved in the planning at all, keep in mind. Anyways, the weekend rolls around, and the bride ends up ignoring me most of the weekend. She only spends time with her other friends. I have yet to get any appreciation or thank you from her about the planning. Also keep in mind everyone spent around $1,500 for the Airbnb, activities, etc., while the bride paid for nothing. The last day comes and things are tense. I've hung out mostly with the 2 other girls from the group chat because they're really the only ones I've become closer with. During the Bachelorette weekend we used the group chat once to organize a surprise we had set up for the bride. We had set up decorations and a picture-taking area, a full table spread of cheeses and meats, a custom-made cake, and bride-personalized drinks, all which she completely ignored when she saw it. The last night there the other girls got invited to some retired hockey player's house and the cab ride is $100 one way to get there. Considering the cost and that it was really not my vibe, I said I'd stay back, and the other 2 girls I was with most of the time also decided to stay back. The next day when we were packing up to leave things the uncomfortableness was palpable. No one would look at us or talk to us. I was the only one with a truck and the other girls shoved all of their stuff in my car so that there was no room for anyone to drive with me back home, which was an 8-hour drive. We get back home, we meet at the bride's house and unload my truck. As I'm pulling out of the driveway, the bride runs up to my car and says, "I want to see your phone and messages with the group chat with, insert names of the 2 other girls." I say no, that's really uncomfortable and it's invading their privacy. She said fine and walks off and says nothing to me as I leave. From what I've collected and can infer, it probably seemed like myself and the other 2 girls were cliquey. However, I personally talked with everyone else lots, but was getting ignored by the bride. I'm at such a loss. We are adults and I am being asked to share my text with a group of girls that I was asked to interact with outside of the bride in order to organize her bachelorette. And now she's worried we have become friends without her. This is something I've been told explicitly. I want to pull out of the wedding for how poorly I've been treated. She has been a horrible friend, and her asking to go through my messages has been such a breaking point for me. Edit. For those asking, she wanted to see the chat because she said that she is insecure about me talking with the other girls about her, so she wants to see what is in our group chat. I absolutely had nothing to hide. There is nothing in that group chat. But I said no and told her she can ask the other 2 girls and then can see it because it's their messages too. It was more of a thing of principle. I don't think you get ownership of your friends and should be allowed to see all their messages because you're insecure about them being friends. As well, she hadn't spoken to me the whole weekend and I was feeling very ignored. She had many opportunities to ask to go on a walk with me and talk about this, but instead she had waited until I was backing out of her driveway, in front of all of the other bridesmaids, except the other 2 from this group chat who had already left. Also keep in mind it was after about an 8-hour drive and I was dead tired and wanting to get home, so either way I wasn't going to sit and have a conversation. I also didn't get what the purpose of seeing a group chat would give. The 3 of us girls were there in person the whole weekend. If we wanted to talk about the bride we wouldn't have been texting about it. And lastly, the whole reason we had this group chat was to plan the bachelorette because none of her friends ever replied and stuff needed to get done. And the bride has explicitly said over and over and over she wanted no involvement of it being planned. The wedding was yesterday. I didn't go and haven't spoken to the bride since I told her I was dropping out of the wedding 2 months ago. Another bridesmaid also dropped out. The 3rd girl mentioned in the original post did go but said she regrets not dropping out. The bride got mad at her for several other miscellaneous things in the few days prior to the wedding. I found out from the other bridesmaid that dropped out that the bride had been talking about me behind my back for the year leading up to the bachelorette, and had plans to completely ghost me and cut me off after the wedding. Keep in mind she made me her MOH. Big lesson learned is to listen to your gut and do what's best for you.